ranking every bow in Albion Online.
弱いもんいい子だねほら頑張れ頑張れ渦巻きになるぞ勝ってばよねえスコちゃんおいおいおい頑張れ頑張れ先輩
Evaluating their skills, damage, strategy and playstyle, and see which one ranks number 1. Starting with the Bow of Badon. So I usually take this for poke damage and this for escape or repositioning. And with a power level of 850, this ranks as A tier. And as ultimate, Raging Storm. Being a ranged AoE damage with crowd control, this is definitely S tier. For the majority of all bow builds, I go with this. Assassin Hood for instant cooldown reduction, Cleric Robe for 100% protection, Scholar Sandals to never run out of mana, and Caroline Cape to boost poke ability. But as a variation, you can add a cloth cap with this ability. The main strategy goes as follows. Wait for the enemy to use a channel ability, and then simply ult them to cancel their ability. So here I reposition myself so that I'm in front of them, and then pushing them back into my team like this makes them easy targets. Another strategy that you can use with Force Field is this. Pushing them back into the ult for double damage. In times like this, Cleric Robe and Frost Shot comes in handy. Let me show you again. Use Ultimate and Force Field. Which does two things. Gaining distance and pushing them back into the ult. Here, I caught a group of enemies with my ultimate. And because of this, they lost a chunk of health before entering a teamfight. And while they're distracted, I use my meditate spell to get my ultimate again. A teamfight is about to break out, so I focus the healer. As soon as he tries to heal someone, I stop him with my ultimate. As soon as the healer is dead, the rest of the enemy team are easy targets. So in terms of playstyle, it's both aggressive and defensive. Just keep in mind that you have to keep your distance. So for that, I rank this playstyle S tier. Now, the Warbow. I take the same skills, and with a power level of 763, this is actually D tier. Its ultimate, Magic Arrow. It has good range, good damage, and low cooldowns. However, it doesn't have any crowd control, so therefore it's B rank. The playstyle and strategy is very simple. 1. Keep your distance. 2. Just poke and poke and poke. Focus on one enemy at a time. So the pros are, you can do a lot of damage from a distance, and with the range and damage, chasing down enemies is quite easy. At this point, you just know bro has no chance. With any fight, I focus the healer, so I get close and I land a perfect hit. You probably thought I missed, but if you're a pro like me with a 40% win rate, I never miss. Want me to show you again? Just watch this. Shazam! Another kill steal. Here's a great example of the build. So I just landed the ult, I wait for him to reappear and then I pop my shield. While the shield is active, I reduce the cooldown of my ult and I ult him again, which results in him running to his own death. Here's another great example of the build, in a more 1v1 scenario.
Oh shit, not good.
While he's in that frozen form, I reduce the cooldown of my ult, then I ult him as soon as he comes back. So in terms of playstyle, it's a very easy bow to pick up. It has good range and good damage. However, it lacks crowd control and AoE damage, so therefore it's slightly weaker than some of the other bows on this list. Therefore, it's B tier. Now for the normal classic regular bow. This is a very versatile bow. I typically take these skills, but this skill also works very well. In terms of power, this is D tier. Its ultimate being Enchanted Quiver, basically turning you into an AK-47 with a bit of mobility. Therefore, I rank it at A tier. In terms of build, it's very versatile. You can go for attack speed or you can go for lifesteal for more sustain. So in terms of strategy, you want to stay close but not too close. Keep an eye out for this circle. You want the enemies to be just outside the border to maximize damage. If you have the attack speed build with the Hunter's Jacket, use its attack speed ability with the ultimate to boost DPS. This bow is all about balancing distances and always having great positioning. As you can see here, even though he closed the gap, I'm slowly able to gain distance and still deal decent DPS. Here's a good example of keeping good distance and sustainable DPS. Before he's even able to get close to me, he's already half health, and I'm still landing auto attacks. He tries to close the distance, but I can easily get away with Frost Shot. He finally gets close, but I have the Retaliate spell. Here's another example of a 1v1 scenario, but this time showing off all the abilities of the lifesteal build. Let me show you an amazing outplay that this build can do.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So I'm running away with one hit, then I realized I ain't no so I start fighting back. It doesn't work out, so I start running again.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Then I realized, wait, hold on, he's kinda low health. Wait a second. Oh my god, he's actually gonna die. Everything went according to plan. So in terms of playstyle, it's very aggressive, it's high DPS, it's a lot of fun, but it does lack a bit of crowd control and AoE damage. So for overall playstyle, I'm going to rate it A. Now for the Wailing Bow, you'll need to keep your distance with this weapon, so take the usual spells. With a power level of 813, this is a B rank. The ultimate being Demon Arrow. It's got great damage, but it's very hard to land. It also lacks crowd control, so I'm going to have to rank it D. This bow playstyle is all about having good accuracy and good placement, trying to line up as many enemies as you can to get more damage. Here, I run through the enemies, trying to get many of their attention so that I can get a line of enemies that I can shoot through. But then, my accuracy had other plans. It can be very challenging to hit multiple enemies at the same time. 2 is manageable, 3 is very rare, and 4 is a unicorn. You can imagine, in black zone, red zone, or even yellow zone, trying to use a Wailing Bow as a solo player is going to be very challenging. Your DPS isn't going to be great in a 1v1 situation, especially with a 25-second cooldown. A Wailing Bow is ideal for when you're in a team, when you have allies that can stun lock enemies. So it's ideal for ZVC situations or arena. So for that reason, I'm going to rank it D, as it's not ideal for most players. Now, the Whispering Bow. You really need to keep your distance with this one, so I recommend these spells. And with a power level of 788, this is rank C. Its ultimate, Undead Arrows, basically allowing you to become a sniper/machine gun, and also turning it into one of the highest DPS weapons in the game. However, you lose 25% of your defense, so therefore I'm going to rank it B. In terms of builds, focus on attack speed, so that you can take advantage of the ultimate and boost your DPS even higher. Now let me show you a sneaky strategy and build that works wonders with this bow. It's a 3v1 situation. At this moment they can't target me with auto attacks or see where I am, but I'm able to dish out as much DPS as I can. And after it's done, I can just hop off and run away. So how do I do it? You may be asking. It's very simple. Use your ultimate, use the attack speed spell, and then drop the smoke bomb. Then just button bash your auto attack. Now let me show you a better example of better positioning and using the spells at the right time, resulting in a triple kill, of course.
Double kill.
Here's another build you can try out, conveniently shown by our enemy. He's running Cleric Robe with Everlasting Spirit, which seems to really work out for him. When you're going against a Whispering Bow and you find yourself losing, you need to create distance fast, otherwise it's GG's because they have the longest range in the game. Here's what you can expect in a 1v1 situation. It's a close battle, even though he outspecs me. Here, while he has the reflective shield up, I decided to use Meditate to get my Frost Shot quicker, so I can gain more distance. Turns out the damage from the Frost Shot actually kills him. So in terms of playstyle, this weapon has the highest DPS and the longest range, but it's very squishy, so going against a high burst damage weapon is going to be a nightmare. Therefore, playstyle ranking gets a B. Now we have the Longbows. I'm pretty sure these are imported from Japan. So I take these abilities with a power level of 763, it's rank D. Its ultimate being Rain of Arrows. It does AoE damage with a bit of crowd control, but you do need to stand still to get the full effect. Therefore, I rate it C. Strategy is very simple, just aim and shoot. The more enemies you get in the ultimate, the better. But comparing it to other bows, it's very similar to the Badon, but in my opinion, the Badon is far superior. For a few reasons. 1. It has better range. 2. It slows and cancels channeling. And 3. You don't need to stop and channel to get the full effect of the ultimate. The only thing better about the Longbow is the cooldown. Again, this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. So for those reasons, I'm going to have to rank this C. The Mistpiercer. I take the usual spells, and with a power level of 863, this is definitely S tier. Its ultimate, Lucent Hawk. Imagine the Warbow, but on crack. It lacks crowd control, but it has very high damage, so therefore it's ranked A. When using this bow, try not to do this, where you just stand in one spot and use your ultimate over and over again. If you do this, you basically become a sitting duck and an easy target for all your enemies. So try to alt and then reposition, alt, reposition, alt, reposition. Doing so, you'll be more unpredictable and gives you more time to aim your shots. Also, the damage is crazy. This is an example of how to be unpredictable. Never let them know your next move. Keep them guessing. At this point, you and him are probably thinking, I'm dead. So Zion, what you failed to understand was my actual target was this guy. Exactly how I planned it. Oh, this thing? That's a trophy, an achievement. Don't worry about it. Just know that I survived. Just look at the sheer power this bow has. Shazam. Shazam. Shazam? Shazam! Alright, first try. So in terms of playstyle, this is for sure A tier. And finally, the Skyrider. I recommend the same spells for poke and repositioning. And with a power level of 863, that's definitely S tier. Its ultimate, Sky's Fury. Hands down one of my favorite ultimates. It's like having Everlasting Spirit with the mobility of Thrust Shot and being able to do AoE damage. And that's why I rank it S rank. The damage is no joke as well. 3 shots and they're almost dead. Here's another example. And with the help of Everlasting Spirit, I'm able to negate 100% of their burst damage. It also looks super badass. It's definitely one of the best looking finishers, in my opinion of course. Here, I had all of my spells ready, so I was more than confident knowing I can kill this guy. But then, a side character shows up, shaking my ass. The playstyle is very versatile. I can play both aggressive or defensive, so I could attack them first, deal a lot of damage and chase them, or I can wait for them to close the distance and attack and then become untargetable. Therefore, for the playstyle, I rate it as S. Lastly, after looking at all of the 8 bows, which one is actually the best? What determines the best? Firstly, it should be fun. Like, why are you playing if it's not for fun? And secondly, it should be strong in all scenarios. So in situations like 1v1, 1v2, 1v3, or team scenarios, but especially 1v1s, as this is the most common encounter in the open world. So with that being said, in last place, it's the Wailing Bow. It's hard to make full use of the ultimate, lacks CC and has a long cooldown. In 7th place, it's the Longbow. Everything that it has, the Badon does better. In 6th place, the Whispering Bow. Even though it has really high DPS, it's really squishy. You need to have quite a bit of experience and skill with this weapon to actually take advantage of that. Like if you don't have a good defensive counter build and an acute awareness of good positioning throughout fights, you're going to die really quickly. In 5th place is the Warbow. This is a very beginner-friendly weapon. It's very simple and easy to use, but it's very basic. It lacks AoE and mobility. Now, in 4th place is the Mistpiercer. It's like the beefed up version of the Warbow. Great damage, but it lacks mobility and CC. Now, for the top 3, in 3rd place is the normal bow. Even though this is a very basic bow, it's super versatile. There are so many different playstyles and builds that go with this. It's super fun and it's the cheapest bow. Though it lacks AoE and CC, it makes up for it with its DPS and mobility. And now, for 2nd place, it's the bow of Badon. It has great AoE damage and CC. It can play both aggressive and defensive very well. Not to forget, it can cancel channeling, so it can counter many different weapon types. And finally, as number 1, it's the Skyrider. It has many different playstyles, aggressive, defensive or counter. Its ultimate is very underrated, and I'm not talking about damage. I'm talking about being untargetable and the mobility. Knowing when to time the ultimate to evade burst damage from multiple different weapon types has won me so many different fights, it's crazy. Anyways, I hope this video is helpful to you and that you gained a better understanding of bows in general, and finally be able to decide which bow is right for you, or just start picking up bows and trying them out yourself. It's your game, so have fun. Anyways, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Comment down below your favorite bow and what you thought of the video, and if you'd want a similar video on a different weapon type. Deuces.